Hello crafters and welcome to season 3 of P2PCrafts Presents, brought to you by From Picture to Page and Beyond Papercraft shows. Now I'm your host, Michelle Brown, Creative Director From Picture to Page, which is our scrapbooking, mixed media art and papercrafts community. Now P2PCrafts presents a whole heap of demonstrations and chats with our retailers as long as some guest artists. So for all the details, see who's coming up in season 3, as well as catching up on the replays and season 1 and season 2, head over to our website from picturetopageandbeyond.com.au where you can see all the links, see who's coming up and of course be the very first to get the updates. And while you're there, make sure you are on our email list so you can get those updates. Each week we'll let you know who's been on and let you know who's coming up and all the other exciting things that are going on from Picture to Page. Now, whether you're watching here live on Facebook or you're watching a replay through Facebook or YouTube or on our website, we would love to know that you're there. So pop in the comments, say hello, as I can hear Wendy R and Margaret and Kylie, and it's fantastic to have you all along today. Now, if you've got any questions, make sure you ask them as you go along, or of course pop them in the comments later and we'll make sure we get to them. So today we've got a really exciting guest who is new to the Picture to Page craft family. So today, P2PCrafts presents Crazy Cats Mixed Media. Hello, Fiona.
Hi Michelle, how are you? Hi everyone.
It's so good to have you with us today.
Yeah, thank you. It's awesome to be here. Very exciting.
Yes, now Crazy Cats Mixed Media was going to come along to our Pakenham show.
Yeah, I was really excited to be coming along to the show for the first time and meeting all the people that I get lots of orders and chat to online and whatever. And it's a little bit disappointing, but it's still very exciting to be here and be able to at least chat to everyone in the space. So, yeah.
Yeah, excellent. So tell us a little bit about Crazy Cats Mixed Media. Where did it all start?
So we started in 2017. It started off as a bit of a family thing with my aunt and I deciding that since we'd both been in Creative Memories many years ago and we were sort of delving into the mixed media side of things as it was all evolving, that it'd be a bit of fun to have a little shop and be able to do demos and teach people and learn ourselves. So we decided to start Crazy Cats Mixed Media.
Mm-hmm. And where did the name come from?
Well, I myself have 2 cats, and my aunt used to always think of me as a crazy cat lady. So amongst other things, we also have 2 dogs. So I guess, crazy dogs didn't quite have the same ringtone to go with it. And and the logo itself is inspired by one of our cats, as well as one of my mum's cats, who's a black and white cat. So,
Excellent. It's a great logo. Now, you're located in rural New South Wales.
Yeah, we are located in sunny Wagga Wagga in New South Wales. So it's about halfway between Sydney and Melbourne for people that don't know, and it's about a 3-hour drive to Canberra.
Yeah. So. And what's the crafting community like in Wagga?
It's small, I would say, in that we don't have any bricks and mortar stores that aren't like the big box type, like Spotlight and Riot Art and those kind. And we've got a few groups that do the Stampin' Up and the Kazaz. And then we've got our little store that does some scrapbook classes as well as mixed media classes.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And so how did you get started in mixed media?
Well, I sort of transitioned from the scrapbooking and I think it was, I'd say probably Heidi Swap maybe, that I was watching at the time when she was she's still popular, but when she first became more popular, I guess. And with her sprays and whatnot, as well as Tim Holtz and his distress inks. And I've always loved Tim Holtz and his style and his grunge vintage and whatnot. And then it sort of just evolved from there, I think, and got more and more bits and pieces to play with and, using different mediums and more messy stuff and painting. And then, you have like the international artists like Dina Wakely and Diane Wrigley that visited Australia and going to their classes. So, yeah, it sort of just became my favourite thing to do ever, really. And I incorporated it into everything, so.
Oh, that's good. And I think that's the challenge sometimes for mixed media. People do come by via scrapbooking or the stamping, and I think it's that almost getting over that, not necessarily the mess, but perhaps just the worry about the mess and the paint and the different mediums.
I think so. Like there is a lot of stuff out there. Don't get me wrong, and it's nice to have everything. I definitely would be, handy, especially you do. Oh, I just use this time, but there's lots of things with the mixed media that you can do as well. Like um, just because it comes as one thing doesn't mean they have to use it like that. And I think that's something that we really like to promote as well. Trying different things with your products that you already have and just trying to make the most of it because, especially at the moment, money can be tight. And so, to make the best out of what you've got and also make a good mess and have fun while you're doing it.
Yeah, there's nothing like making a mess and having fun. So what are you going to make a mess and have fun with today, Fiona?
So today we're going to, I'm going to demo the IZink Ice, which is by Seth Apter. It's a new product out this year, which is a translucent gel, and you can use it very similar to a lot of your other gel mediums and whatnot. But it's different in that it comes in little pouches, which I'll show you in a minute, and they're all like 18 colors available, and there's just so many different ways you can use it. And it's I don't know, it's just a bit of fun, and it's a bit of trial and error at the moment since it is so new. So yeah, I look forward to showing you that, and I'm also going to show you some projects that I've used it on, just to give you some ideas on how else you can use it.
Yeah, so. Excellent. Well, we'll let you get set up and we'll jump into it. So fantastic. It really is exciting to bring you a brand new company with Crazy Cats Mixed Media. And I know that Kylie said they hadn't heard of you before, but yes, now you've got a link to their website, and I know that they are shipping across Australia as well. And like we said, sometimes mixed media can seem a little bit scary for those that are just taking baby steps into it, but it really is a way of just exploring what you've already got and building on it. So it looks like Fiona is ready to go. So take it away, Fiona.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. So, like I said, first of all, I'll start off with some projects that I've made with the, actually, I'll show you the packets first. So this is the IZink Ice, and these are the packets. It looks a bit like those squidgy yogurt packets that you get in the supermarket. So that's the size of the packet. And like I said, it comes in a multitude of colours. We're going to use these 4 colours today. So that's what we'll be using on our project. But just some things that I've made with it, just so that you don't think it's only for journaling or whatnot. So with this one, I did a scrapbook page. This is my mum and I being silly at the movies.
That's a great photo.
It turned out really well, actually. Thank you. I've used the ice as the background here, and I don't know if you can quite see it, but there's an imprinted pattern in the background, particularly
we can just see it
in the copper. So with that one, what I've done, and this is like using your items as something else, is I've got just a cardboard box, and I've used my embossing folder. I've run it through the embosser, and then I've just used this as a stamp. So once I've put the ice down and I've stamped into it, and it just leaves that really nice subtle impression just to change the background a little bit.
So what a great idea, using your embossing folders to create your own stamps.
Yeah, and that way, if you're worried about ruining things, well, it's a bit of cardboard and you can just get another bit of cardboard, really. You can use anything. So this is the project that we're going to be doing today that I'm going to show you how to make. It's just using a variety of techniques and the ice itself, but we'll get back to that. Some other things that I've used it with is, this is my latest creation, using the ice through a stencil. I've used some Tim Holtz paper dolls and the quote chips, and I don't know if you can see at the bottom, the little snowflake amongst my mum's old music paper. So, but as you can also see, I think you might be able to see the texture.
Yes, we can.
That it gives. Very cool. And it's just a little bit of different kind of texture to your regular gel medium or your gesso or your modelling paste.
Yeah.
And then this is another one that I was just practicing with. So this technique that I've used at the top is one that I haven't seen too many people try, or I haven't seen anyone else, but I'm sure that they have, is stamping into the ice with your red rubber stamps, just to add a bit more texture to it, and to, like with this one, it's got the word weathered in it. And then sort of aging it with some of the dye sprays that Seth Apter also has. So, oh, just remembered also, when I first got the ice, I had my journal out and I was like, what on earth am I going to do with this? So basically I got a bit of each colour, squished it out of the packet, squished it onto my journal page. I thought, oh, right, okay, there's got to be more to it. So that's why I've been playing around with it, so that I can bring you some more ideas.
Yeah, and that's a good reminder. Sometimes when you do get something new, you just have to play with it a little bit to really understand how it works.
Absolutely. I think people forget to do the whole playing thing sometimes. They're just like, oh, this is what the packet says, let's roll with that. And so much more. So, anyway, let's get started. What I've got is just an A5 sheet of paper that I originally stuck a dictionary page onto, and then have pulled it up just to add a little bit of grunge to start with. So, with the ice, you can apply it pretty much with whatever you like, but I just found that the palette knife works just fine. You can use either the metal variety or the plastic, although I do find that sometimes with the plastic ones that it can get caught up along the sides, and it makes it a little bit harder to clean. So, just going to
Oh, so it's
squeeze it
actually
in.
quite thick.
Yeah, it's like a gel, like it's not going to fall off my palette knife. So you get that, and we can just lay it out onto the page. Now, when you're doing that, you'll notice that if I'm doing a really thin layer, you see that it's quite light in colour. But the thicker the layer is, the darker the colour that you're going to get. So with these, I've found that you can mix the colours when they're wet, but once they've dried, it's just going to layer on top of each other as opposed to mixing. Right. So I'll just put the...
And how long is it taking to dry, are you finding?
To touch dry, it probably takes about a half an hour if you're not going to use a heat gun.
Right.
But there's pros in using a heat gun in that you can make some very cool effects with it. I won't actually use the heat gun today, but I have made some pre-prepared ones so that you can see. And like with the snowflake one, you would have seen the bubbling in that. That's right. The effect that it creates.
With the heat gun, yep.
With the heat gun. So the longer you hold your heat gun, if you focus it on a thicker area, it'll bubble right up. And if you just want it to dry flat, I would recommend you get your heat gun and you just sort of wave it across the top. And you'll notice that it'll start to look a bit dry. Now, when you're adding some, I don't know, interest to your piece, a bit of texture, you can do it, with your palette knife. You can just put some scrapes into it. Make some patterns, mark making, however you like, really. Just make some here and then do some swirly patterns. Wipe off the excess. And then if you decide you don't like it, you can always just run your palette knife over it again and it will smooth out. And you can try again, or you can just leave it smooth, however you like it, really. So, that's the first bit. So once we've done that, we will have dried it with our heat gun. Here's one I prepared earlier. And as you can see, it's got some texture to it. I'm not sure if you can quite see the bubbles.
Yeah, we can just see. And then has it got a metallic shine or is it just a gloss?
So if you think of when you go to the ice rink and you think of the actual ice surface itself when it's not wet, it's got a... well, I guess really it just looks like that, like ice itself, like a big sheet of ice. It's not super glossy, but you will see when coming up that it does act as a resist on the paper as well. So it's quite thick, it's quite flexible. You won't crack it by flexing your paper like that. And one thing I do recommend is make sure that you put the lid on early. Because once it's dry, it'll be a bit hard to get off. So next what we're going to do is some stamping. So this stuff's pretty cool. You can stamp on it. I have just got the Tim Holtz archival ink that I use on it. Once it's dry, it stays. Here. A bit up here. So yeah, it does stamp over the top fine. And also, I'll just put the book paper down so that you could see the translucent nature of the product. So
Yeah, it's quite see-through.
Tim Holtz glitch stamp here. Add a few more stamps to it. Just a bit of variety. And seriously, you could just play all day with this stuff, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could, like, I've tried it over a few bits and pieces. And so far, it all seems to have worked pretty well. Now, so once you've done the stamping, something else that you can use it with is the stencils. So I've got 2 of Dina Wakely's stencils here. Just to mix it up a little bit. I'll get a different colour. So this is the Freesia, pretty pink. So we're just going to add a bit of a layer to our paper. There, again, it's not going to fall off my palette knife. And it's the same as if you're putting modelling paste through your stencils. Just make sure they're nice and held down and nice firm over the top. Now also with these, I'd recommend that once you've put it through your stencil, that you either put your stencil in water or clean it straight away. I've just got a pot of water next to me. I'll just throw it in there. Lid on. And then this is Dina's X's stencil. The other one was the circle faces.
And
So
Fiona, Wendy was just asking the face stencil. What one's that?
That is circle faces.
Circle faces.
Yep. Yep. Peel that off, put it in the water, and then clean your palette knife. I mean, if you wanted to, you could have put the excess somewhere to add a little bit more, but so yeah, through a stencil. Now again, when you dry that, you can choose whether you want to make it bubble up. It's actually quite mesmerizing just to watch it bubble and foil. But yeah, so just through stencil, it's just as crisp and it's nice and thick. All right, so once we've dried that, it will look like this. And as you see, I've added the bubbling. I tried to particularly around the eyeballs of the faces, just for something fun. Now, the last thing that I wanted to show you is the stamping onto the page itself. Like I said, it won't ruin your stamps that I found yet, unless you don't clean them straight away.
So that's always a good thing to remember. If you're using anything other than inks, you're better off cleaning your stamps straight away.
Pretty much. Unless you don't like your stamps, maybe. Or want to go shopping again. Either or. So I'm just using the weathered stamp here from Seth Apter's Impression Obsessions.
Mm-hmm.
That's new to our store, those stamps. And we're getting a new shipment with his latest stamp in as well. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
New shipments are so exciting.
Oh, it's very exciting. I think I almost know all our posties by name. It's a bit embarrassing, but they're very lovely. So this one I'm going to use the hailstone, which is the silver. Now in the IZink ice line, there's 3 metallics. This one are gold and the copper. And with these ones, more so the silver and the gold, you'll find that they are not as translucent. I've got an example here. So this one's with gold on it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that you can sort of see the background, but not as much as if you put a different colour over the top.
Mm.
And this one, I'll show you in a sec, but that's the silver with the stamping in it. So, here we go. Just with this one, get your stamp sort of roughly put where you think you want to put it. Get a bit of an eyeball measurement of how much ice you're going to need to cover the space.
Yeah, and just for those scrapbookers, eyeball measurement's about 3 centimetres.
Sorry. Yes, or you can measure it and place pencil marks wherever you like. I'm a bit of a she'll be right, whack it down kind of person. So with this technique, I recommend that when you scrape it on, you do it reasonably thin, because I found that if it's too thick, you don't necessarily, or aren't necessarily able to read the words of the stamp that you put on it. So just sort of thin it out. Have a bit of excess. You can just lightly go over the top of your bubbles if you want a bit of accent on them. Now this isn't going to dry straight away, so it's okay if you need to take your time, or you've decided, oh, actually I'll try a different stamp. So just put your stamp on your stamp block, line it up, and just straight up and down. Now you'll notice that it does stick to your paper, but that's okay. And then just peel it off, and there we go.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. And you can do that with any kind of stamp, like the mark-making stamps. For example, what have I got? I've got this one, which is the sticks and stones variety. It's got some good mark-making stuff in it. I actually don't think I've used it yet. So.
And you're just stamping with a plain stamp. You're not adding Versamark or anything onto it.
Not adding anything. So this is a stamp straight out of the packet.
Mm-hmm.
Place it on my block. I'll just take that other one off. And then we just straight up and down. Probably not as good because it didn't have as good a coverage, but I don't know if you can really see it there. And what I do like to do with that afterwards is get my flash tissue paper out of the shoebox, and then just stamp off. Let's stamp that weathered one. Stamp it off onto a bit of tissue paper, and then you can use it at a later time. You can see I've done these ones in the gold when I was playing around with it. Or if you've got another one that I did was just a bit of dictionary paper with a spray and stamped on top of that. So there's plenty of things you can do with that. And then with those, of course, pop them in the water. And I just tend to clean them with a toothbrush. And it gets all the stuff off, and they're fine to use regularly once again.
Yeah, that's a good idea, having the water. Then you can just play and just keep them there and then go back and clean up at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then with this one that I showed earlier, what I'd done is I just got some spray, the IZink, I don't know if you can see that, the dye spray. These are pretty coordinating colours with the ice. I think there's the same amount actually of sprays to ice colours. They claim to be no clog and fast drying, and so far I have found that to be the case.
Wow, a no clog spray. That is a big claim.
It is a big claim, and I'm like, ooh, but so far so good. Pardon me. And all I did was I just sprayed over the top. Because this is still wet, it probably won't work quite as well. But yeah, I've just sprayed over the top. I sprayed a bit of the edges to add to that, and then job done.
So with the one that you did spray, did you then sort of mop the spray off the ice?
I just stamped the I got my little paper towel and I just sort of gently wiped over the top so that you can sort of see how it's gone into the
set into
words.
the letters.
Yeah, just so that it showed a bit of contrast to it. And yeah, that's the piece.
Excellent.
So I hope that's taught you a little bit about using it.
Yeah, so could you just show us some of the pieces again now that we've seen the ice? I think that'll help us.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one this is probably my favourite because I'm an ice skater.
Yeah.
This one I did with the snowflake stencil. I actually used the dye spray first and I just covered the whole background and then I put the stencil over the top, and then because of the way that I've dried it with the heat gun, it's caused the bubbling to make it a bit more 3D. So that's one way.
And sorry, what colour ice was that one? Was it the silver?
Oh, sorry. This one was the silver, and then I've just sprayed over the top with
the blue.
Blue Moon and the aqua that they have. But the background itself is violet cassis.
Ooh.
That's probably my new favourite colour, actually.
I know we've got a few purple fans watching.
Yes, absolutely. What else did I have? Oh, yeah, so the page again, like I said, just spread it around on your background. Like I said, there's a variety of colours, and I also used it to colour the embellishment, the love heart.
Oh, lovely. Yep. And then use the heat gun as well?
Yeah, just to add that texture with the bubbling. I think originally that love heart was fluoro pink, and I'm not really a fluoro pink kind of girl.
Oh, wow. That looks a long way from fluoro pink.
Yes. And then this one was just another play around with the mark making, and as you can hear, it's quite robust and quite textural.
I love that gold colour. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And that one I just sprayed over the top with the coffee colour dye spray. So, and here you can see it's probably a good example of how it acts as a resist to your paints. So, yeah, very fun. Just these ones, little mini ATCs. So, and you can really put any words into it. I think that one with the gold, that's a Dina Wakley stamp.
Oh, okay.
Says, "You are worth it." Yeah. So I've and that's actually, I don't know if you can quite read it on this one, it says "You are worth it," and that's the off stamp of it.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yeah, so just some ideas that might help you play around.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that one's a finished one. Yeah.
Excellent.
Was there any questions at all?
Oh, I think we're right for now, so I'll let you get your camera back up.
Yep.
And we'll have a chat. So I hope that's given you some ideas. It certainly has me. I'd seen the IZink online, but I really hadn't seen it in person. So it was really good to be able to see that demonstration as well. So I think we've got Fiona back. Excellent. So did anyone else have any questions? Like I said, I think Wendy was just asking about that the face stencil.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Wendy. Thanks for joining. She said she was going to come and say hello.
Yes, and she's a huge purple fan, so I think she did like that spray.
Lovely.
Excellent. So have you got all those ices in the store at the moment? Ices, yes?
Ice? Yeah, we do. We've got all the colours in stock, ready to ship, as with the dye sprays as well. And actually, I think all the stencils that I used and the stamps are all available as well.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. And you're shipping across Australia?
Yeah, we ship all across Australia. We ship to New Zealand as well, and we ship worldwide. It is more expensive, obviously, to ship overseas. And just a heads up for our Kiwi friends that it probably takes about 3 weeks. I sent something to a lady a little while ago, and it took her about 3 weeks to get there.
Yeah, that's good to know. So, excellent. Well, I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much for showing us and having a play.
Oh, thanks for having me, Michelle, and thanks everyone for watching. It's very exciting.
Excellent. Now, other than your website, where else can people find you?
We are on Instagram and Facebook as well.
Yep, and I know you're always there sharing your wonderful playing and creations.
I like to share.
Yeah.
That's how we all learn,
Yeah. And now Wendy was just asking, are you getting the new Seth Apter stamps?
Yes, the tracks one from Impression Obsession. Yes, that's in the mail.
Oh, excellent. And yes, I think it's about to be the US release season, so I think we're going to see all sorts of new things heading our way soon.
Yes, it's very exciting actually. I was keeping an eye out on everyone's Facebook and Instagram accounts as to when they're revealing. I think Tim Holtz has already done some reveals and we're getting some of his new products in, and Dina's is this week, and I think Diane's is coming shortly as well. So.
Yeah, so it's nice to know that there are a few things to look forward to at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also do stock some Australian brands as well. Darkroom Door, Kinder Creations, and Colour Blast. So if you're looking for any of them, I'm sure we can find something for you.
Excellent, excellent. And if anyone can't find anything, I'm sure they can contact you through the website.
Absolutely, and we do our best to find it for you.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us today, Fiona.
All right, thank you, Michelle.
Okay,
really
bye.
Thanks, see ya.
Excellent. So I hope you enjoyed today's P2PCrafts presents Crazy Cat Mixed Media. I hope for those that you haven't heard of Fiona and Crazy Cats before, it was a new opportunity to learn something new, as well as find another website, and of course give you a few ideas of how we can use some of those new mediums. And like Fiona said, sometimes we don't need to be too scared to play. We just need to obviously be sensible about how we use our stamps sometimes. But as long as we keep them clean, usually they're pretty robust and they can certainly be used in lots of different ways. So to catch up or a replay of Fiona and to get a link straight to her website, of course, head over to the website from picture to page and beyond.com.au, where you can see Fiona's video as well as all the other ones of season 3. And of course, make sure you're on our mailing list so you can get all the replays directly to your inbox. So this is Michelle signing off. We hope you have a crafty day.